All right, so the first piece that I listened to is Ein klein Nachtmusik by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. That is the classical piece I have chosen, as you can tell by the name Mozart. And when speaking about the music itself, the melody it's very classical. It's extremely catchy and hummable. Well, it's not just classical. Every melody is meant to be catchy and hummable. This one is uh, by by a fair margin. It's made up of several string instruments as well as some woodwind instruments that make up the piece. The harmony is just very faint in background. You notice it, but it's not something that you pay attention to very particularly. The rhythm of the piece, this is the part I found interesting. The rhythm of the piece is just, it's either fast or it's slow. There is no intermediate buildup of the rhythm. It's just, you know, fast paced or slow paced. Uh, the dynamics are very classical. We don't have the terrace dynamics of the Baroque anymore. We're constantly doing some crescendos and decrescendos throughout the piece. It's very nice, a very nice change of pace from the Baroque era. The form of Einkleinacht music, it's very classical in its form. It's just pure classical as is to be expected. It's a lot of short little stanzas, I believe they're called, that are have a lot of there's breathing room after all of them, and they're all very distinct and very very different. But what's great about Mozart is the way he puts his pieces together. Is that despite the different pieces being distinct and different, it all is still consistent and cohesive. It's all a you can tell it's all the same piece. The next song was from around the 2010s, maybe late 2000s, I believe. It's The Resistance by Skillet. In The Resistance by Skillet, the melody is similar to Ein Klein Nacht music. It's extremely catchy and hummable. Not quite as catchy as Mozart's, but it's still catchy. Skillet replaces the string and woodwind instruments with electric guitars and heavy percussion, as you'd expect from a metal band. One of the big differences between the songs, of course, though, is the vocals. The Resistance by Skillet has a huge focus on the vocals. The harmony in the Resistance, though, the harmony was even more faint than in Mozart's piece. It's extremely background, and you will not notice it unless you are specifically trying to listen for it. The rhythm of the piece, the rhythm alternate, unlike Mozart's, where it went from slow to intense. Skillet's piece goes from moderate to intense without any crescendo or decrescendo. It's like a Baroque piece. It just goes up to where it needs to be, or it drops down. And the form, this is the part that I found interesting, is that in classical era, the form was always broken down into short little bursts with a lot of breathing room. In modern music, it seems to be broken down differently. You have verses which can go on a lot longer with less breathing room, but then you usually have a little pre-chorus and then a chorus, and those are your three little change places where everything changes. All right, that's about it.